Are you Brian Olivo Gallardo?
Yes.
Mr. Gallardo, you're charged with fleeing and attempting to elude, as well as 2 traffic violations. I'm going to set the bond on count 1 at $1,000, and for the record, here represented by Mr. Edith Bagno,
Thank you.
and stay the bond at $250 on counts 2 and 3 for a total of $1,500. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I brought my NOA with me, but I didn't see a case number, so I guess I'll wait till Osceola puts it on their system to follow on.
There is not a case number yet.
Right. Yeah, I'll just wait till they put a case number, I'll file it. That's all I have, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Have a good day. Sorry to keep you waiting.
No worries.
God, you're organized. My God, I'm just looking at this giant stack thinking, what do I do? All right, Jesus Silva.
Your Honor, is the
morning.
defendant wearing a headset? Good morning.
And you were, is this Astrid? You were already sworn in?
Yes, Your Honor, this is Astrid.
Great, thank you.
I was just inquiring if the defendant was wearing a headset.
They're not in yet.
They're not in yet. They're coming in
Okay.
now. Do you want
All
them?
right, they-
Do you want them
No,
to be
the
wearing a
heads-
headset?
No, my dialer's not working, so they shouldn't wear the headset, so that way they can hear me fine.
So no headsets this morning.
Judge Savich wasn't letting the guys wear the headsets for safety reasons.
Yeah, they've all been failing downtown as well.
There's been an issue with the equipment with AB. They've been working on it for a while.
Right.
But since I'm working from home, I don't ever want to say that it's an issue with AV because it might be my personal device at home. But I know they've been working on some things for us at the office.
Good morning, sir. Are you Jesus Silva?
Buenos días,
Yes.
señor. ¿Es usted Jesús Silva?
Sí.
All right,
Yes.
Mr. Silva, you are charged with possession of MDMA ecstasy. Bond is set at $1,000. You were out on bond in 20 CF 6332B. I'm going to revoke the bond, revoke your ROR at this point, and set the
Señor,
bond,
usted está
set
Go
the
ahead,
bond
Your
at
Honor. I'm
$10,000.
usted está aquí detenido por tenencia de MDMA, también conocido como ecstasy. Su fianza en este caso es $1,000. Usted estaba libre bajo fianza en el caso 20 CF6332B. En este caso se le ha revocado la fianza y se ha fijado la fianza en $10,000.
And I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
Se le nombra la oficina del defensor público para que le represente.
All right, thank you.
10,000 as of this case, Your Honor.
¿Le puedo preguntar algo?
I think it was only one count that I'm aware of.
Yes.
That's the out on bond case.
The armed robbery.
Ajá. ¿Cuántos casos yo tengo?
How many cases do I have?
Well, you have your new charge with possession of ecstasy, and you have the robbery with a deadly weapon, which you were
Usted tiene
released.
el caso.
He was released on a 33-day motion, so I'm revoking his ROR and setting bond at $10,000. I only show that one count.
As to this case, Your Honor, would you consider pretrial release at all?
Doesn't matter. I've revoked his bond on the robbery.
Señor, usted tiene dos casos. El de hoy día, que es el caso de por tenencia de MDMA, y usted tenía un caso previo por el cual estaba libre bajo palabra. Ese caso era por robo a mano armada, o con arma mortífera, mejor dicho, y usted había salido bajo palabra bajo una moción de 33 días, pero ahora el juez le ha revocado esa fianza y le ha puesto a fijar una fianza nueva de $10,000. Así es que usted tiene dos casos.
¿Y entonces qué va a pasar con esos 2 casos? ¿Esperar que se caigan o...?
So what's going to happen with those 2 cases? Do I just wait until they're dropped or what?
Well, you could stick around until they're dropped, or you can ask your public defender that I'm appointing to file a motion for you.
Bueno, usted puede esperar hasta que se caigan como usted dice, o usted puede hablar con su defensor público para ver si él va a hacer una moción o algo de su parte. Ya yo le han nombrado el defensor público, así es que usted puede hacerle la pregunta a ellos.
But I'm appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you, so you'll have an attorney.
Le estoy nombrando al oficial del defensor público para que le presente, así es que usted tendrá un defensor público, un abogado.
Y pero el segundo caso, que estoy ahora, pues,
What about the second case that I'm here for?
You've got a bond on that.
¿Tiene fianza en ese caso?
All right, thank you.
Gracias.
All right, Milton Del Rio Febles, 2020 MM 522. Is that you?
Sí, buenos
You're
días.
charged. Go ahead. Sorry, Madam Interpreter.
Perdón, ¿cuál es su nombre?
Milton Julián, de Río Feble.
Milton Julián.
Milton
Rio Febles.
Del Rio Febles.
Thank you, Your Honor. Usted está aquí en el caso 20MM522.
Charged with resisting without violence and trespass. Bond is stayed at $500 on count 1, $100 on count 2, or pretrial release if he qualifies.
Usted está aquí detenido por resistir a un oficial sin violencia, intrusión ilícita. La fianza en el primer cargo es $500 y 100 en el segundo, o libertad previa a juicio si califica.
Disculpa, no la puedo escuchar. Discúlpeme a la traducción.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to hear the translation.
I'm setting bond at $500 on count 1, $100 on count 2, or pretrial release if he qualifies.
La fianza en el primer cargo es $500 y en el segundo es 100, o libertad previa a juicio si califica.
Ok, ¿y cuál es el motivo que la patrulla de la policía me trajo hasta acá? Yo no la llamé, no hice nada.
What's the reason why the patrol car brought me here? I didn't call the police. I didn't do anything.
I'm just finding that there's probable cause.
Señor, solamente he hallado que hay motivo fundado para la acusación en su
So the
contra.
Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you.
La oficina de defensa pública queda nombrado para representarle.
Thank you.
¿Perdón?
Gracias, es todo.
All right, Jorge Bernales Rivera.
Yes.
Are you Mr. Bernales Rivera?
Yes.
¿Es usted el señor Banales Rivera?
Sí.
All right,
Yes.
You're charged with battery, domestic violence. I'm going to set the bond at $2,500. You are to have no contact with the victim. You are not returned to return to that scene. Do you understand that?
Señor, usted está acusado de agresión física como violencia doméstica. Su fianza es $2,500. Se le prohíbe tener contacto con la víctima y se le prohíbe regresar al lugar de los hechos. ¿Entiende?
Qualifies for straight PTR, Your Honor.
¿Cómo puedo regresar a sacar mis pertenencias?
He qualifies for PTR.
Yes, I do understand. I do understand.
No.
And what do I need to do to get my belongings?
You can return to the residence one time with law enforcement to retrieve personal belongings. I'm not going to PTR.
Usted puede regresar solamente una vez acompañado de un oficial de la ley para recobrar sus efectos personales.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Oh, yes, public defender's appointed on everyone, sorry.
Se le asigna el defensor público.
Hector Luis Moreno Ortiz. Are you Mr. Moreno Ortiz?
Sí.
¿Es usted el señor Moreno Ortiz?
Sí.
Yes.
You're charged with petty theft in count 1, 2020 CF 12490, possession of heroin in count 2. I'm going to stay the bond at $100 in count 1, $1,000 on count 2. Thank you. Public defender's appointed.
Usted está acusado de hurto menor en el caso CF 12490 y también de tenencia de heroína. En el hurto menor la fianza es $100 y en tenencia de heroína $1,000. Se le asigna a la oficina del defensor público. Es todo. Gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Any other interpreter cases right now? Just, that's it?
Is that all the interpreters? Bacon. That's all the interpreters. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Interpreter.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a nice day.
You too. All right, Bridget Nicole Everett. Are you Bridget Nicole Everett?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're set, 2020 CF 12449.
Yes.
Battery on an officer or firefighter or EMT, battery and resisting without violence. I'm going to set the bond at $500 on count one, $500 on count two, $500 on count three. You're to have no hostile contact with any of these people. If the police are called again, I'll revoke your bond and you'll sit in jail at no bond.
Any of who?
Any of the people involved in this case, it appears there were several.
Your Honor, may I make a PC argument?
No. No PTR, no RR.
I don't know.
Because she does not qualify for the public defender's office.
I don't really know my case.
You actually make too much money, Miss Everett, so you don't qualify for the public
With my
defender's
boyfriend?
office. So I'd suggest you contact an attorney.
Okay.
But bond is set at $500 on each count with no hostile contact with the victims.
You said no hostile. Oh, he said no hostile. You said no hostile contact.
Right.
Okay, so do you have paper?
David Ventura?
Shit, man. I'm not marrying nobody here. Why you doing me like that, shit?
Are you David Ventura?
Yeah, he said me to send me and talk to me, shit.
Are you
Stop
David
doing me
Ventura?
like that, shit. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Are you David Ventura?
Yes, sir. I want
Mr.
to go home,
Ventura, you're
sir.
charged with battery domestic violence. Based on my review of the packet, I'm going to set the bond at $1,000. No hostile contact with anyone. Do you understand that? If you get arrested again, your bond will be revoked and you'll sit in jail. Do you understand that? All right, have a good day. Thank you. And that was 2020 MM 7547.
PD not appointed?
Yes, PD appointed, sorry. All right, Edward Williams. Are you Edward Williams? Are you Edward Williams?
Yes, sir.
All right, in 20 MM 7543, there's probable cause as to resisting without violence. The bond is stayed at $500. As to 2020 CF 12470, bond is stayed at $7,500 as to the sale and delivery, and $150 on count two. And that's according to the judge that signed the warrant. Thank you. Dayon Milburn. Are you Mr. Milburn?
Yes, it's me.
Mr.
Yes.
As to 2020 MM 2825, I'm appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you. The judge who signed the violation of probation set the bond at none, so I'm going to stay the bond at none at this time, appointing the Public Defender's Office to file a motion for you. All right? Thank you.
All right.
Are you Cornelius Allen?
All right, how you doing, sir?
Mr. Allen, the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you based on the probable cause found for robbery, battery, domestic violence, and criminal mischief. I'm going to stay the bond at none at this point, but appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm sure they'll file a bond motion for you.
I swear I couldn't hear you.
You want me to say that again?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I found probable cause, so I'm going to order that you be held without bond.
Without bond?
Without a bond, but I'm appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you, and they'll file a bond motion for you.
Okay.
All right?
I'll follow what now, sir?
I'm not going to do anything else at this point.
Okay, okay.
State does have information for the record, Your Honor, from the victim, the listed victim, his wife. His wife does not wish to press any charges. She has very serious medical issues that requires help. They share the same home. They share 7 kids together. Just want to put it on the record. She has no intent to press charges.
And is that Tamika Haynes?
Sir,
Is that Tamika Haynes? Is that your wife?
Yes.
she was downstairs, Your Honor.
What's the state's position as to imposition of a bond?
State would not object to bond being placed on the charges with a no hostile contact with the victim.
All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Mr. Allen. I'm going to set bond at $5,000 on count 1, $500 on count 2, $100 on count 3. No hostile contact. If the police are called or there's any other incident, all these bonds will be revoked, and you'll sit in jail until your bond date. Any question about that?
No, sir.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, Lionel Farron,
Good afternoon.
2020 MM 882. (2020) CF 1250, 2020 MM 883, as to 2020, let's see, as to 2020 MM 882, I'm going to set the bond at $2,500 on each count for a total of $5,000. There are 2 counts of battery. You are not to return to that scene or have any contact with the victim while these charges are pending. Any question about that?
No, sir.
All right, as to 2020 CF 16860, I'm not going to take any action. Did I sign the order revoking?
Yes, sir.
No. So I'm not going to take any action at this point. And as to 20 CF 12500, bond is stated at $1,000.
Yes, sir.
As to 2020 MM 883, bond is stated at $500. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Daryl Montgomery, Daryl Jared Montgomery, 2020 CF 12508.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Montgomery, you're charged with battery, domestic violence, false imprisonment, domestic violence. I'm going to set the bond at $1,000 on count 1, $1,500 on count 2. Absolutely no contact with the victim and no return to the scene. If there's any indication you've made improper contact, I'll revoke your bond. Any question?
No, sir.
All right, have a good day. Public defender's appointed. All right, Mario Smith. Are you Mario Smith?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Smith. You're charged with battery by strangulation, domestic violence, and aggravated assault in 2020 CF 12501. Am I supposed to answer that? Somebody's calling. Hold on. Hello. Not from this number, I'm sorry. Bye. Wrong number. Mr. Smith, you're out on bond in 2019 CF 10703, Defendant B, as to the third-degree murder, solicitation, and delivery of cannabis. I'm going to revoke the bond and set no bond. And you do not qualify for the public defender's office, so I'd suggest you get an attorney to file a motion.
You know, the situation.
Don't talk about
Don't
your
discuss
case.
your case.
Yeah, I know.
Don't discuss your case.
Your Honor, did you set bond on this case?
No,
No bond on the domestic violence case?
no.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Based on him being on bond, I'm finding he's a danger to the community. All right, Jordan Beck. Are you Mr. Beck?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to see Ms. Reed in a little while. Is there any reason for you to have contact with each other while this is pending?
Excuse me, Your Honor?
Are you staying together?
No.
Okay. So for 2020 MM 7546, I'm going to set the bond at $500, and there's to be no contact with the victim and no return to that residence. Any question about that?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
On the last case, did you say no contact?
No contact with the
No,
victim?
last case, this case.
Yes, I'm sorry, thank you.
He does qualify for pretrial release, Your Honor. Would the court consider that?
Only if the co-defendant qualifies for pretrial release. Amanda Reed, she's coming up later.
Okay.
So PTR if he qualifies.
Are we doing bond or?
You doing bond or PTR?
Does he qualify?
You know what, remind me when we do Miss Reed to
Okay.
readdress it. I'm not going to impose PTR at this point.
Yes, Judge.
Are you Jose Ignacio Colon?
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Cologne, as to 20 MM 7540, any reason for you to go back to that place?
No, sir. Well, it's my mom.
Right.
We were just having a family.
Don't discuss your case. Don't discuss your case.
Any reason, have you got a place to stay outside of that?
Yes.
Okay. So as to 20 MM 7540, I'm going to set bond of $1,000 on count 1, $500 on count 2. No contact with the victim while this case is pending, and do not go back to that house or apartment. Okay?
Why so high, though?
I'm sorry?
Why the bond so high? Like, I'm from New York. And I'm like,
Sir, you can have a bond motion filed after today's court date to try to reduce that if it's
Yeah,
too
the
much.
public defender's office will file a bond motion.
do I have to post 2 bonds?
Are you Brianna Dupre? Are you Brianna Dupre?
Yes.
You gotta say it out loud because we're being
Yes.
recorded. All right, you're charged with battery, domestic violence in 20 MM 7535, battery, domestic violence in 20 MM 7534. Who lives there? All of you?
Me, my mom, my brother, and his fiance. We all just moved in together.
State has some announcements, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, state has spoken to the fiance, that's Donnell, and the mother, that's Amanda, in the charging statement. They have since split houses to where the 2 defendants that you'll see today, Destiny and Brianna, are not going to be living together. The problem is with those 2 ladies, apparently, from what I understand. The victims want to have contact. They just do not want the 2 defendants to have contact with one another. And they will be living apart.
All right, so I'm going to set bond at $1,000 on each case. Order that you have no hostile contact with any of the victims or any of the parties involved. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you.
Are you Daryl Ferguson?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ferguson, you're charged with battery, domestic violence. Actually, you're both charged with battery, domestic violence. Do you live together?
For the time being, it was all just a big misunderstanding.
Don't speak about your case.
Don't talk about the case, but
Talk about the
have you
facts.
got a place to stay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to set bond at $1,500. No return to the scene, all right?
Yes, sir.
No hostile contact.
Yes.
All right, have a good day. Are you Lindsay Hall?
Hello, Your Honor. Yes, I'm Lorenzo Hall.
Wait. Tell me your name.
My name is Lorenzo Hall.
Okay, I am looking for Lindsay Ann Hall.
Say again?
You're the wrong person. We're looking for somebody else.
And Your Honor, she qualifies for PTR.
Okay.
Are you sure that that's not actually Lindsay Hall?
Did we bring over the wrong
no,
person, so Miss Hall is not available?
It's a female.
Oh. Well, Lindsay, Lorenzo.
The arrest affidavit lists her as a she. So.
Are you Lindsay Hall?
Yep, step up to the right.
Have you got a place to stay besides this address where this occurred?
No, sir.
Has the state had contact with the alleged victim?
No contact with the alleged victim, Your Honor.
If I impose a bond and release you to go back there with no hostile contact, if you're set at no bond, for the record, it's 2020 MM 877. If I impose a bond allowing you to be released and you go back there, I'm also going to order no hostile contact, and I'm going to order no alcohol or drug consumption. Obviously, there's a problem there since you're in jail, right? So I'm going to set bond at $1,500 on count 1, $200 on count 2, no hostile contact with the victim, no alcohol consumption, and no drug consumption without a prescription.
Am I allowed to go back to the house?
Yes, that's why I'm posing no hostile contact instead of no contact. But if someone calls the police and you're in trouble again, this will get revoked and you'll sit in jail at no bond. So I'd suggest you behave.
Yes, sir.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Sunil Jethwani?
Jethwani's mental health, sir.
Can we roll tomorrow or roll to Monday for mental health? All right, so we'll roll Mr. Jethwani to tomorrow, 2020, MM7539. Are you Brian McDonald?
Yes, Your Honor.
2020 MM7519. Has the state had any contact?
No, sir.
Has the state had any contact with Marina Otino?
No, Your Honor.
Have you got another place to stay?
Yes, Your Honor. My mother's house.
All right, I'm going to set bond at $1,500. No contact with the victim, no return to the scene.
He does qualify for pretrial release, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. You do not qualify for the services of the public defender. You make too much money.
Wow, I do.
So I'd suggest you get an attorney.
Okay. Thank you.
How much is bond?
Is it bond or PTR, Your Honor?
It was, 1,500.
I didn't say
Thank you.
PTO.
1,500.
Are you Amanda Reed?
Yes, sir.
Are the two of you living together?
Sorry?
Are the two of you living together?
No. No,
Okay. So there's no reason for you to have contact with him while this is pending?
I'm sorry?
There's no reason for you to have contact with him while this is pending?
No, sir.
All right, so I gave Mr. Beck a $500 bond. I'm going to give you a $500 bond and order no contact with him while these charges are pending. Does she qualify for pretrial release?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so as to Mr. Beck and as to Ms. Reed, pretrial release is acceptable if they qualify. All right, thank you.
Same conditions for both? So there's no contract?
No contact. All right, are you Destiny Selby?
Hello?
Are you Destiny?
Yes.
Ms. Selby, in 2020 MM7536 and 2020 MM7537. In both cases, I'm going to set bond at $1,000. No hostile contact with the victims. No contact with your co-defendant. Can you put on the record what you put on earlier with her co-defendant?
Yes, Your Honor. State has spoken to Donnell, the fiance, as well as Amanda, the mother, both listed victims in this case. The two defendants are will have different locations to live at this point. The only request from the listed victims was no contact between the two defendants. That's Destiny and Brianna. State does not oppose no hostile contact with the other listed parties in this case.
So do you understand that?
Yes, no
The two
contact.
of you are to be kept separate. You can have contact with your victims except your co-defendant.
Okay, so just contact with my fiance. That's it.
Correct.
Okay. I just have a question.
And you're appointed the public defender's office. I don't know if you should ask me
Yeah,
any
probably not.
questions.
Let me find out what the question is first.
All right, thank you. Jean-Alexis Alexander, is that you?
Yeah.
Are you Mr. Alexander? Are you Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
All right. You're charged with 2 traffic counts, failure to stop and remain at a crash scene, and driving without a license. I'm going to set bond at $1,000 on each count. All right, and the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Thank you.
Will the court hear any probable cause arguments as to the leaving the scene? As to leaving the scene, Your Honor?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
May I make a probable cause argument as to leaving the scene?
Well, I read the affidavit.
I don't think that there's anything in the affidavit that is one of the essential elements in proving up leaving the scene of a crash with serious bodily injury that suggests that the client needs to know or should have known of the injury. I would argue that there is not sufficient facts in the arrest affidavit to suggest that this defendant should have known of such injury based on what occurred in this, I guess, traffic incident. And I don't believe that there's anything to support from the arrest affidavit that the individual, the pedestrian, suffered serious bodily injury.
I believe there are facts regarding serious bodily injury. He was transported to Osceola Regional, or not Osceola, so he's saying Osceola, Your Honor.
The defendant wouldn't necessarily know that at the time. However, his fender was left on the road. So having your fender left on the road suggests that you either know or should know that there's potentially some damage or injury and should stick around. So I'm finding there's probable cause. Thank you. Are you Frank Alston? Oh, I'm sorry. Tell me your name.
Good morning, Frank Austin.
Yeah, no, that's the one we just did. Mr. Alston, you are charged with and it's for the record 2020 CF 12459. A traffic violation of driving with license suspended for having been revoked for a third or subsequent refusal. Bond is set at $2,500. I'm going to stay the bond at $2,500. You're also out on 2020 MM 5547 and 2020 MM 3813. I'm going to take no action at this time as to those 2 cases.
Mister.
Yeah.
May I speak and say something?
Not
No.
about your case.
If you're going to discuss the facts of your case, this is not the time to
Public
do
Defender's
it.
Office is appointed to represent you, so if you have a question, talk with the public defender.
Does it? Hold on. Does it? Does your question involve? Oh, yeah, I guess the bond's got set, right? So you can go post it. And no action if the other things are not involved.
Don't drive.
I'm sorry.
For the love of all things holy, don't drive.
They need to stay what? The court reporter is asking that the attorneys state their names into the record.
Rachel Kleinper on behalf of the state.
Devin Desai on behalf of the Office of the Public Defender.
Are you Terrence Baker?
I'm James Blewis, sir.
Oh, I have Terrence Baker next. I guess we'll hold on.
Robert Baker.
Huh? I have a big one.
2002 2655.
You on page 5?
He bonded.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
He bonded?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, in 2020 CF 12514, Mr. James Brewer, you're charged with fleeing and attempting to elude. I'm going to set bond at $1,500 as to that count. You're out on bond on 2020 CF 9151. I'm gonna, actually, your bond has been endorsed.
Excuse me?
Your bond on your heroin charge has been endorsed, so you're recommitted to custody based on the bond being endorsed.
What does that mean?
Whoever posted your bond came off your bond.
Oh, okay. But so does that mean I could go back on bond though?
I think the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you, and you'll need to have them file a motion.
Oh, what does that mean, sir?
You just reach out to our office, when you get a chance, ask your attorney to file a bond motion for you.
Okay, thank you. Well, you just said a bond in this case, 1,500, right?
1,500 on the fleeing and eluding. Yep.
But it's just the old one. That
The
you
old
got
one,
for.
yep.
Okay.
All right, so I'll impose a new bond.
You need that defendant back. You need the
Sorry,
defendant
I'm
back.
sorry. I can't hear what you say, Judge.
That's okay. We need Mr. Blua back.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
New bonds.
Have to do them all over. You have to pay for them again.
Can I increase the amount? Don't need to. Well, if he's not here, on Mr. Blua's case, there he is.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Blua, your bond was endorsed. However, I'm going to set a new bond of 1,000 on count 1, 150 on count 2, and 100 on count 3.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So I can bond out. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Your Honor.
Are you Kalani Bowles?
Yes, sir. How are you doing, Judge?
I'm okay. How are you?
I've almost had a heart attack when I found out I had a warrant with absolutely no information. It's a robbery charge as well. Oh, my ID?
Well, I read the affidavit,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an allegation of a robbery in August at Family Dollar on Oak Ridge.
Okay.
So don't talk about the case.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to set the bond at $5,000 on the robbery. You're also out on bond on ROR in 2015 CF 11831. I'm going to revoke your ROR. You're also out on your aggravated battery with a deadly weapon charge in 20 CF 10902. I'm going to revoke your bond in that case. I'm going to order that you be held no bond.
No, Judge, please, Your Honor. I have been trying for years to be able to do good. I've gotten a job recently, and worked so hard for years to stay on the clean path. I'm so sorry that it looks like this, but Your Honor, please don't do this to me, Judge. I have a job. I have children.
On the 2015 cases, are you out on conditional release? Or have you posted a bond?
Yes, sir. But it said those bonds were discharged years ago.
Right, I believe you're on conditional release, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Dan Spencer is your attorney?
Yep. Judge, I promise I'm going to get this one taken care of because I know it's really a misunderstanding, as you'll see. I'm not a violent person or a bad person at all. Please, Your Honor.
But according to your history, you would be considered a violent person. You have an aggravated battery charge. You have a resisting with violence, a battery on law enforcement.
Judge, this was years ago, though, and I've...
Hold on.
But I'm not going to revoke your release status because he's on mental health conditional
Competency
release.
cases.
Can you
Competency status set 1218.
Can you contact Mr. Spencer and let him know that Mr. Bowles has been arrested? And whoever the judge is on those cases may revoke your conditional release, but I'm
Yes,
not going to
Judge.
do it today.
Thank you, Your
And I'm
Honor.
going to stay the bond at $5,000 on the robbery.
Thank you so much, Judge. Thank you.
Good luck.
So I can bond out?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, guys.
All right, as to Joe Nathan Brewer. How are you, Mr. Brewer?
No, I'm fine. Thank you,
You're
Judge.
charged with possession of cocaine in 2020 CF 12492 and possession of paraphernalia. I'm going to stay that the public defender's office is appointed to represent you. I'm going to stay the bond at 1,000 on count 1, 500 on count 2. Pretrial release if you qualify. All right?
Yes.
Thank you. Are you Diarlo Brown?
Yes, sir. My name is Diarlo Brown.
All right, Mr. Brown, you are charged with, you've got an out-of-county warrant, so there's not much that I can do about that.
It's a complete misunderstanding because
Don't discuss the facts of the case, please.
It's a failure to appear for a VOP arraignment in Osceola County. So a hold has been placed on you. I imagine they'll come and transport you soon. So I'm going to stay the bond at none. You have a possession of fentanyl case where your bond has been endorsed. I'm going to set a new bond of $2,000 on that case. All right?
So,
Thank you.
so I have to sit here until Osceola comes?
Unless your public defender in Osceola County files a bond motion with the judge in Osceola County and the judge in Osceola imposes a bond.
And how long do they have to come get me?
I think they're transporting regularly now.
Reach out to your public defender on this case. They'll get in touch with Osceola County for you. Okay?
All right, are you Linda Brown?
Yes, sir.
I do, let me put the case numbers, 2020 CF 12452A. You're charged with trafficking in a controlled substance and possession of alprazolam with intent to sell. So the bond was set at $50,000 on count one and $1,000 on count two.
Count one is 100,000.
Count,
The sheet on the front?
yeah.
The sheet right here.
No, I know. So the correct amount is supposed to be 100,000. That's the standard bond, but I'm okay with staying the bond at 50,000 on count one and 1,000 on count two. Again, the public defender's office is appointed to represent you. They'll be in touch.
I would like to make a probable cause argument, judges, to this case. In the arrest affidavit, there's nothing, the officer says that he cites these pills that were recovered, the quantity of pills that were recovered, but there's nothing to show that the pills were in fact a controlled substance. No field test, I believe, was done per the affidavit that I see. No admission about the substance from the defendant. And it's, you know, as to the trafficking, they would need to establish that it's a controlled substance, not merely just a pill with markings. And then also the fact that it is in fact alprazolam.
I think there was an admission that it was an alprazolam, and the trafficking is simply based on the amount. They're not arguing she tried to sell them to anyone there, but it's simply based on the amount. But I'm not going to raise the bond to 100,000. I'm going to stay the bond at 50,000 on count one and 1,000 on count two.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, are you Thomas Carlin?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carlin, you're charged with petty theft as a third or subsequent offense, making it a felony in 2020 CF 12477, criminal mischief. So I'm going to stay the bond at 1,000 on count one and $100 on count two. All right? Have a good day. Are you Michael Chisholm?
Yes, sir.
Are you Michael Chisholm?
Yes, sir.
All right. So in 2020 CF 12502, you're charged with possession of a controlled substance and possession of paraphernalia. I'm going to stay the bond at $1,000 on count one. Excuse me, $500 on count two. You are on bond in 2020 CF 10294. I'm going to decline to revoke your bond at this point.
Yes, sir.
Stay out of trouble.
Yes, sir.
Are you William Clifford?
I am.
2020 CF 12497. You're charged with battery on an officer. I'm going to reduce the bond to $1,000. All right?
Sir,
Thank you.
possible I could have a non-monetary bond? Because I don't have money to cover that at this time.
Do you have a place to stay?
I do, sir.
Does he qualify for pretrial release?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So $1,000 or pretrial release if you qualify, and apparently you do qualify. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Are you William Garish?
Say again?
Are you William Garish?
1 second, y'all. He bonded.
You bonded?
Mark William.
Are you Lorenzo Hall now?
Yes, I'm Lorenzo Hall.
At the right time?
Huh?
We got you at the right time this time?
Yes, it's my first time here.
All right.
How you doing, sir?
Mr. Hall, I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you.
Can you please say again, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you.
Okay.
You're charged with first-degree murder with a firearm, 3 counts of attempted first-degree murder with a firearm. Having reviewed the affidavit, I'm going to stay the bonds at none. You're also out on bond on 2020 CF 11242. I'm going to revoke your bond on that. But the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. We'll take no other action today. All right?
Okay.
Thank you. Is it Jay and Harris?
Yes, sir. Hey, Your Honor, I had got arrested and they took me to the downtown investigation room on my warrant, and then they released me, all type of stuff. So I don't know what's going on, sir.
Well, you're in 2020 CF 11109. You're charged with possession of cocaine and you're charged with carjacking with a weapon, burglary of a conveyance, and fleeing or attempting to elude in 2020 CF 12485. You're charged with possession of cocaine and possession of paraphernalia. I'm appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Stay the bond at none on the carjacking, $1,500 on count 2, reduce the bond to $1,000 on count 3, the fleeing. Stay the bond at $1,000 on the possession of cocaine and $500 on the paraphernalia. You're out on 2020 CF 10322 and 20 CF 9137. I'm going to revoke the bond on 9137, set a new bond of $2,500. Revoke the bond on 20 CF 10322, new bond of $1,500 on count 1 and $500 on count 2.
May I make a PC argument as to the carjacking charge, Your Honor?
Yes.
The allegation here is that an individual used a firearm to take the vehicle from the alleged victim in this case. I believe the defendant is alleged to have been a driver of this vehicle. There's one passenger who does not name him as being the driver. There's another individual that does name him as the driver. Hold on. Allegedly names him as the driver. There is nothing that directly ties this defendant to whichever individual it was that may have used a firearm to forcibly take the vehicle from the alleged victim in this case. But for a passenger in the vehicle who has reason to implicate Mr. Harris on this case. So outside of, as to the carjacking, the act of using the firearm to create the threat of force to take the vehicle, I don't think there's anything that ties this specific defendant to that individual other than the co-defendant in the vehicle.
So I'm guessing that he would not be charged if a firearm were involved with a minimum mandatory, but he's charged as a principal. Any objection to me setting a bond?
Your Honor, they had released me. They took me to the police department.
Don't discuss the case.
Don't talk about your case, Mr. Harris.
State wouldn't object to high bond being set, given the history and the arrest record.
I don't know where this case is being assigned, but it's a warrant from Judge Bleckman. I'm going to stay the bond at none, appoint the Public Defender's Office, and have them file a bond motion.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you Sharon Harrison? Yes. Ms. Harrison, in 2020 CF 12483, going to reduce the bond on count 1 to $1,000 or pretrial release if you qualify. All right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you Viwe Q's?
Yes, sir.
Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, sir.
All right, in 2020 CF 12479, I reviewed the affidavit. I do find there's probable cause. I'm appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm reducing the bond to $1,000 on count 1, $1,000 on count 2, $100 each on counts 3 and 4, total of $2,200. All right? Thank you. Are you Herman, is it Langa Ferrer?
Hi.
Is that your name? Tell me your name.
German Lange.
Oh, Mr. Lang, all right.
Yeah.
So you're charged with unauthorized possession of Suboxone, as well as sale and delivery of Suboxone. I'm going to stay the bond at $150 on count 1 and $2,500 on count 2. So for a total bond of $2,600.
¿Qué me ayudan?
I'm sorry?
The VA, I'm a veteran. The VA prescribes Obasum. I take Obasum from the VA.
Don't discuss your case.
When I got stopped.
If you have a prescription for it,
Yes,
then you
sir.
can provide that to your attorney. That may be part of your defense. Okay?
Thank
Bond
you.
set 2,600 total. Are you Kendra Mann?
Kendra Mann, yes, sir.
Mr. Mann, in 20 CF 12498, you're charged with possession of cocaine and possession of cannabis. I'm going to set the bond at 500 on count 1, ROR US to count 2, or pretrial release as to both counts if you qualify. All right?
All right, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Israel Marrero? Are you Mr. Are you Hans Noel?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Noel, you're charged with possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, and with a weapon, and simple possession of cannabis. I'm going to set bond at $1,000 on count 1, $500 on count 2. All right? Thank you. Public defender is appointed to represent you. Are you Donald Paget?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Paget, in 2020 CF 12465, I'm going to stay the bond at $2,500 on count 1, $150 on counts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Those are the bonds imposed by the judge when he signed the warrant. So, Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Thank you. Are you Werner Payton?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Payton, in 2020 CF 12491, you're charged with battery and aggravated assault with a weapon. Any reason for you to have contact with this person?
No, but the second charge, it didn't ever happen.
Any reason for you to go back to that scene?
No, sir.
All right, so bond is set at $100 on count 1. I'm going to reduce the bond to $1,000 on count 2. No contact with the victim and no return to the scene. All right?
All right. Thank you.
Are you Gustavo Ramos Beltran?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Beltran, I'm in 2020 CF 12476. Bond is stayed at $1,000 as to count 1 and count 2. In 20 CF 12472, those are capital sexual battery charges, and I'm staying the bond at none. I'm appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you. They'll be in touch right away.
I have a paid lawyer,
I don't see any notice of appearance. Who's the lawyer?
Amir Ladan.
Okay, so I will not appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Amir Ladan will hopefully file a notice of appearance and do not talk about your case.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Rashawn Richardson?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Richardson, you are charged in a new law violation, 2020 CF 12517, grand theft third degree, tampering with evidence, and possession of cocaine. Bond is set at $1,000 on count 1, $150 on counts 2 and 3. As to your charges in 2020 CF 5988, I'm going to revoke your bonds, set a new bond of $2,000 on count 1, $500 on count 2. As to 2020 CF 7650, I'm going to revoke your bond, set a new bond of $2,000 on count 1, $500 on count 2. So I'm still giving you a bond. All
But
right,
you
thank
just raised the bond.
Correct,
All right.
because you violated with a new law violation and a new arrest. Are you Corinna Shelley?
Yes, I am.
Ms. Shelley, in 2020 CF 12503, you're charged with possession of a controlled substance without a prescription in counts 1 and 2. Possession of paraphernalia, I'm going to stay the bond at $1,000 as to counts 1 and 2, $500 as to count 3. Does Ms. Shelley qualify for pretrial release? All right, Ms. Shelley, I'm going to allow pretrial release as long as you qualify. Make sure you get in touch with the Public Defender's Office. Make sure they know how to get a hold of you, and you know how to get a hold of them, all right?
Doing bond or? Okay.
Are you doing bond or straight PTR?
Bond or PTO.
Okay.
Yes. All right?
Okay. Any conditions?
Not in addition to bond or PTO.
And no conditions with the PTR? Did you want to have any conditions for the PTR?
No.
Okay.
Other than don't traffic and drugs again. Or wrong charge, sorry. All right, are you Tremaine Walden?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Walden, you're charged with possession of cocaine in 2020 CF 12495. I'm going to stay the bond at $1,000. As to your previous possession in 2020 CF 5811, I'm going to revoke your bond, set a new bond of $2,500. All right?
What is that? What is that? That I have to pay my original bond, $2,500, and then this one?
Your new bond on the new charge is $1,000. You were out on $1,000, but you violated it by getting arrested on a new charge. So I'm revoking it and increasing the bond to $2,500.
So if I pay
Total
that
of
one,
$3,500.
okay, I paid that one and paid that, I can get out.
Yep.
Thank you very much, sir.
Can defense make a probable cause argument as to the possession of cocaine charge?
I'm sorry?
A probable cause argument as to the possession of cocaine in this case? The substance was never, the officer makes a stop involving a traffic infraction. Upon search of the vehicle, searches center console and finds what he suspects to be crack cocaine. I did not see anything in this arrest affidavit that suggests that the officer field tested the substance to confirm that it was in fact crack cocaine, other than just merely recovering the baggies from the center console area.
And to
Don't say anything about the case. Don't say anything about the case. I understand. I get that.
Does he qualify for pretrial release?
No, Your Honor. He's currently out on bond.
Oh, okay. All right, so then oddly enough, on the new charge in 2020 CF 12495, I will ROR him, but I'm still revoking the bond on the old case and increasing it to $2,500.
Yes, Judge.
All right, Mr. Walden, thank you. Are you Donald Walker?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
All right, in 2020 CF 12496, you're charged with armed kidnapping, armed burglary of an occupied dwelling, aggravated stalking after a court order, and criminal mischief. I'm going to stay the bond at none as to counts 1, 2, and 3. $250 as to count 4. You're out on bond in 2020 CF 10384 as to your aggravated stalking and criminal mischief. I'm going to revoke the bonds, impose no bond. You're also out on bond in 2020 CF 9809, attempted kidnapping, burglary of an occupied dwelling, criminal mischief, and battery. I'm going to revoke the bonds and stay those at none. Public defenders appointed to represent you, they'll be in touch. Thank you. Are you Ricky Walker?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Walker, you are charged with 2 counts of sale and delivery of cocaine. I'm going to stay the bond at $7,500 on count 1, $150 on count 2. You're also out on bond on 20 CF 2513, possession of a concealed weapon or firearm by a convicted felon, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and battery. I'm going to revoke your bonds and impose no bond at this time, but I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. They can file a bond motion. Thank you. Are you Anya Witters? How do you pronounce your last name?
Whiters.
Oh, Ms. Whiters, in 2020 CF 12448, you're charged with attempted felony murder with a firearm, shooting or throwing into an occupied vehicle, and criminal mischief. State have any position as to the bond?
State would request the no bond stay.
All right, I'm going to stay the bond at none at this time, but the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. They'll file a motion, I'm sure. $5,000 as to count 2 and $1,000 as to count 3. All right, thank you. Are you Alyssa Evans? Ms. Evans, in 20 CT 6443, you're charged with driving with license suspended. Bond is stayed at $500 or pretrial release if you qualify. In 2020 MM 7544, bond is stayed at $250,000 as to the theft charge. All right? So you've got $500 on the traffic charge and $250 on the theft charge, total of $750 for pretrial release if you qualify.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Are you Luis Ibanez?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Mr. Ibanez, in 20, I don't have a court case number. You're charged with DUI with property damage. I'm going to set the bond at $1,000. As to your theft charge in 2020 MM 70060, I'm going to revoke your bond and set a new bond of $750. As to carrying a concealed firearm, possession of cannabis in 2015 CF 3755, I'm going to revoke your ROR, set bond at $2,500 on count 1 and $500 on count 2. All right? Thank you. Are you Bartavius Kinsler?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kinsler, you're charged with driving a license suspended. Bond is set at, in 20 CT 6444, bond is set at $500 or pretrial release if you qualify. You're also out on bond on 2019 CF 8100. I'm going to revoke your bond, set a new bond of $5,000 on count 1 and $1,000 on count 2. So I'm not going to hold you at no bond, but I'm imposing higher bonds.
So how much my bond is in total?
$6,000 total, $500 on the new one.
All right.
Are you Shaquille Tucker?
Yes.
Mr. Tucker, in 20 CT 6445 and 6446, you're charged with driving with license suspended, no motor vehicle registration. I'm going to set the bond at $500 on count 1. I'll ROR you as to the no motor vehicle registration. I probably should revoke your bond on your DUI, but I'm going to decline to revoke it this time. I'm not going to revoke your bond on your DUI. But the judge who has the case pending may do something, so for now, you're all right. Have a good day.
Okay.
Do you have a question?
Yeah. So it's 500 to get out.
Correct.
Okay. Thanks.
Are you Lazaro Cabrera Corrales?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cabrera, you're charged with trespass on property. Any reason for you to go back there?
I was gonna try to lease a car, but no, I'll just find somewhere else.
Well, find somewhere else.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
go back there.
Yes, sir.
All right. Does he qualify for pretrial release?
He needs to be interviewed, so we can do a bond or.
Bond?
He wasn't interviewed. He needs to be interviewed before he can be qualified. So we can do a bond or.
Okay. So 2020 MM 7532, I'm going to set bond at $100 or pretrial release if you qualify. Do not return to that scene.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Am I sorry, I've never done this before, so how do I pay the bond?
You go through a bondsman, call a bondsman or post it, or you
You
can post it
either pay a
yourself.
minimum of $100 or if you qualify, they'll release you on pretrial release and you'll be required to make weekly telephone contact with them.
I'll pay the bond, but I could do that when I get released today, or when is that?
Well, they're not going to release you until you pay the
Yeah,
bond.
no.
Okay.
You need to get someone out there post for you with the $100, or contact a bondsman, or do the interview with the jail services, see if you qualify for pretrial release. If you do, you'll get released without having to pay anything.
Okay, I'll do that. How do I do this?
All right, thank you. Are you Maisha Hall?
Who
You
was
are
that,
not.
sir?
I was looking for Maisha Hall.
You have a booking number, Your Honor?
Case number 2020 MM7548.
A booking number.
I do not have a booking number. That's because I don't know where to look.
2002-684.
Are you Jeremiah
Bond.
Hunt?
Thank you.
She,
Sorry, go ahead.
she bonded.
She bonded, all right. Are you Jeremiah Hunt?
Easy behavior.
Say that again. Roll, so are we resetting? Are you Joshua Davis?
Yes, sir.
We knew we'd get to you eventually, right? Mr. Davis, it's an out-of-county warrant from Brevard. There's nothing I can do about it. Your bond is stayed at $30,000.
How much?
The judge in Brevard set the bond at $30,000. And I don't know who the judge is, but Judge Crawford? So Brevard has indicated as soon as you've had this initial appearance, they'll extradite you. And I cannot change bond amounts on out-of-county bonds.
Is that legal? 30,000 on a 5-year felony?
It's 2 counts of possession of meth, right?
1 count.
According to the affidavit, it's a violation of probation on 2 counts of possession of methamphetamine, and the judge in Brevard set the bond at $30,000. I can't change it. It's an out-of-county judge.
Whoa.
Same thing with Romaro Jenkins. Are you Mr. Jenkins?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jenkins, you've got 2 warrants out of Marion County, 20 CF 2470, each one set at $10,000.
Oh, you said
I have a feeling they'll come and transport you as soon as possible
okay. What is it? You said 2 warrants is for what?
for robbery.
What? Oh, what is it?
$10,000 each.
Oh, what is it? What's the charge?
Robbery.
Just robbery, or is it sudden snatching?
It says robbery by sudden snatch.
So robbery by sudden snatching. Okay.
All right, thank you.
And all of the counties,
Do they get the PD? Okay. Public Defender's Office is appointed. Are you Henry Manuel?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Manuel, you also have 2 out-of-county warrants from, an out-of-county warrant from Marion County. Bond is set at $2,000 on, well, you've got 2 cases, 2 counts each, so the judge in Marion County set bond at $2,000 on each of the 4 counts. So a total of $8,000. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Good luck. Are you Alvin Smith?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, you also have, must be the same judge. You also got 2 bonds out of Marion County, 20 CF 4059B and 20 CF 4060. In 4060, the judge has set bond at $2,000 count 1, $1,000 on count 2, and $2,000 on count 3 for a total of $5,000. In 20 CF 4059, bond is set at $2,000 on each of the 2 counts, so you've got a total of $9,000. Thank you. Are you Jody Thompson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson, you have a Volusia County warrant for your violation of probation. Bond is set at $1,000.
I don't have probation. I'm not.
Oh, wait a minute. It's a felony warrant for theft. It's not probation. You're right. My bad. But it's a theft warrant out of Volusia County, and the judge there set bond at $1,000. But you're right. It's not probation. Sorry about that. Are you James Giles?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Giles, you're charged with violating your probation. This is, I can't read the judge, this is Judge Allen. Based on the nature of the offense, she has set the bond at no bond. Public Defender's Office is appointed, and they'll file a motion for you. All right, thank you.
Judge, he has reporting requirements.
I'm sorry?
He has reporting requirements.
Well, if he doesn't have a bond, if you're given a bond or and are able to post a bond, you'll be required to report within 24 hours of your release. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Hang on, sorry. I didn't realize you had a second case. So in 2020 CF 10335, multiple counts of possession depicting improper sexual performance, child pornography. The judge has set the bond at no bond on all of those counts, and I'm going to stay the bond at none. Thank you. What am I missing?
No, so are you pointing the public defender?
Yes, public defender's appointed. Sorry, I'm hard of hearing in this ear.
Oh,
So I can hear better out of this ear, but you're talking in my bad one. Are you David Moore?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Moore, this is a violation from Judge White in Division 17 on 18 CF 11039. I don't know what the charge is, but he has set the bond at none. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office. Hopefully they'll file a motion and try and resolve this as soon as possible.
Okay, that's
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Are you Jewel Russell?
Yes, sir.
Are you Jewel Russell?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Russell, you're charged with violating your probation. Is it 2 misdemeanors?
Yes, sir. They 2 misdemeanors.
Simple battery and trespass, Your Honor.
And is it like Judge Calderon to impose no bond on 2 misdemeanors? It's odd.
It's a violation of probation. That's why I have no bond.
Well, I understand that, but if it's a misdemeanor, I'd probably still give a bond.
Right.
But it's Judge Calderon's order, and I can't change it. So
Sir?
I'm going to stay the bond at none, appoint the public defender's office, and hopefully they'll get someone to represent you and get a motion filed right away.
Yes, sir.
All right? Are you Jamal El Hadradi?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. El Hadradi, you're charged in 20 MO 1084 with disorderly conduct. Does Mr. El Hadradi qualify for pretrial release?
He needs to be interviewed. He has to be interviewed.
Right. So the bond is set at $250 or pretrial release if you qualify once you're interviewed.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Thank you.
Are you Nelson Figueroa?
Yes, sir.
Does the state have any objection to me trying to resolve this case?
No objection, Your Honor.
When did Mr. Figueroa, when did you get arrested?
Like 2 nights ago. 3 nights ago.
Well, you're charged with citation with an open beverage.
Yeah, I found it on the floor and I threw it in the garbage. Then he took it out. and threw it-
Don't discuss the.
If you wanted to resolve the case today,
Yeah.
I would adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 4 days in jail with 2 days credit. You'll sleep overnight, get cleaned up, and get released.
we only have 1 day.
Yeah.
We only have 1 day.
1 day? Well, then he'll sleep 2 nights and get released. Do you want to resolve your case? Raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can put your hand down. Is there a plea form that he can sign, and I'll go over it with him? Any objection to that, state or defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Nelson, I'm sorry, Mr. Figueroa?
Yes,
Just
sir.
take a minute and go over that plea form and let me know when you're ready and you're able to sign it. And I don't know if the public defender wants to assist him at all.
Yeah. I just want to find out how much time I'm doing on this.
They don't do pleables?
So what you're gonna want to do is write your name right here, okay? And then sign, and there's no attorney, because you're just doing it. pro se.
I'm surprised there weren't more
Just sign
pleables.
both sides. Write your name up here, print it here, sign there, okay?
All right.
Maybe tomorrow.
We're doing good with our time.
You understand what you're doing?
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
quick once I
One
get
day
going.
credit.
I may start late because I want to review everything.
I was gonna take this back to the office, but I think this has to go back to
How
pretrial
much time
release.
is it?
4 days with 1 day credit.
4 days with credit for essentially a day and a half. So you'll spend the weekend, get released. Is that all right?
I wish I could resolve it right now and leave today.
Well, I can reduce it to 3 days, and you'll be released tonight or tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, you ready? Okay, just get that, can I get that?
One warrant to do, give me 2 minutes.
Okay.
Is there any way I could get released today on the charge? I got, open container?
I think it'll be tomorrow.
All right.
One second, Mr. Figueroa. Do you have the plea form? Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Figueroa, you've been sworn in. Tell me your full name.
No, Sonaga Figueroa,
What is your date of birth?
3/24/74, March 24th, 1974.
Where were you born?
Where?
Where?
Rochester, New York.
Are you under the, is that home of Kodak?
Yeah, my mom works there.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, medications, or alcohol that affect your judgment today?
Nope.
You've been treated for a mental illness before, is that correct? Do you understand everything we're doing today?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand you're entering a plea of no contest to the citation of alcohol open container?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you're giving up your right to have a hearing, your right to have an officer prove your guilt by a preponderance of the evidence?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand you're giving up your right to testify and your right to remain silent?
Yes.
Do you understand you're giving up your right to see, hear, and question any witnesses or present witnesses on your own behalf?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand entering the plea could result in the suspension of your driver's license or would result in your being deported if you were not a U.S. citizen? Do you read and write English?
Yeah.
I'm holding up this plea form in English. Is that your signature?
Yes, it is.
Did you have a chance to review and read the plea form? You're saying, you got to say yes out loud.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe you understand all the rights contained on the plea form that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yep.
I'll find that you're alert and intelligent, that you understand the rights you're giving up based on the affidavit of Justin Wilkes with the Orlando Police Department. I'll find there's a sufficient factual basis to support the plea and accept it. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 3 days in jail with 3 days' time served. I do have to impose court costs. I'll reduce those to a judgment.
All right.
Good luck, Mr. Figueroa.
Thank you very much.
anything else we need to address on the record?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right, then I am ending this, going on a mute system.